Welcome to the Lighthouse. I'm so delighted to have this time with you, and I'm so grateful that you're here. So this is our first session for the month of February, and for this month we're going to be focusing on the human heart. In the month of January we were doing a lot of sort of reaching into this the cerebral dimensions of focus and working with the prefrontal cortex of the brain. And February is such a good month. It is the month, in my views, it is the month for working with the cave of the heart and for creating coherence with our human heart, and for opening, for becoming more receptive to the magnificence and fullness of being alive. So let yourself get really comfortable in this moment. And I'm gonna share with you a quick story. This is an old story, and maybe it's a story that you perhaps are familiar with. It's the story of a cup of tea. So many years ago, there was a great Zen master, and people came from all over, from hither and yon, from all of the hinterlands and from the big cities. They came to this master and asked him, for instructions on awakening, asked him for instructions on enlightenment, asked him for instructions on, the way of Zen. And one day, a very wealthy man who was very used to people following his commands came to the door of this Zen master. And of course, the Zen master invited him in and said, "We'll discuss over tea. Let me make you some tea." And so this wealthy man sat down while the Zen master silently boiled the water and prepared the tea. And when it was time to pour the tea, the Zen master poured the tea and kept pouring the tea and kept pouring the tea as this wealthy man kept talking to the master. He kept pouring the tea until the tea overflowed out of the tea bowl and spilled all over the robes of this man who had come to see him. And the man yells at the master, "Stop pouring the tea, it's going everywhere, it's all over me." And the Zen master said, "You are like this cup of tea. Your mind is so full that there is no room for anything else. Come back to me when your cup is empty. Come back to me when your cup is empty." So, moral of the story, it's important to, have a skill set, a wherewithal, a set of practices that help us to empty our cup, to empty our mind, to quiet our mind, to get a glimpse of what it feels like and what it means to experience no mind. It's a beautiful opportunity in the arc of this work. So I've put together a few practices today for us to empty our cup. So let's start with a practice that's going to be pretty energizing. It's going to move a lot of chi, and it's going to allocate the chi in a really good way, so that if there's any sort of stagnation or slowness in various systems or areas of the body, it'll all start, regulating. Okay, so you're going to take your hands and make fists, but keep your thumbs on the outside of the fingers and plug the index, middle ring, and pinky fingers into the center of the palm. And you're going to punch out and then pull in. So every time you punch out, you're going to exhale. Okay, and every time you breathe in, the hands will retract in. So we're emptying out, we're expelling any kind of negativity, any kind of excess, anything that's unresolved, anything that's preventing us from getting into the coherence, coherence and clarity and unlimited creativity that is available to us when our hearts are open, when our cups are empty. Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate and then we'll do this together. Be really aware of what you're letting out of the cave of the heart as you do this, okay? So the drishti, the gaze, is set at the tip of the nose, and every time the hands punch out and every time the breath goes out, pull your abdomen in just a little bit, okay? So I'm going to actually change this music so we can have something a little bit more, something a little bit more rhythmic. Well, let's start with this. Okay, so you can either go at half pace or at double time, which is sort of what I was just demonstrating. So if the rhythm that I set seemed like it was too swift for where you're at today, then slow it down. And sometimes remember that when you're starting these practices, sometimes it takes a couple of punches to figure out what rhythm is appropriate for you today. So let's do this thing. Okay, again, make fists, keep the thumbs on the outside, exhaling, punching out, and inhaling, pulling in. Don't forget to use your abs. Emptying the cup. Even if I stop and I talk to you, keep the practice going. Keep up, keep up, keep up. Know that this stuff works. It moves every molecule in your being. Emptying the cup. Keep it going. Creating some devotion, excuse me, around the direction of discipline. Devotion around the direction of discipline. I know it's intense as I choke on my spit. Let it move you. Let it move you. So you've got about 30 seconds left. Creating devotion in the direction of discipline. Just a couple more seconds. You know, over the centuries, this beautiful word, discipline, has become a little bit distorted, right? So 3, 2, 1. The word discipline originally, at its root, used to mean someone who devoted themselves to that which they loved. So we're creating some direction, some devotion around the direction of discipline, and we're focusing most locally right here on our human heart. So we're reclaiming our relationship with the root of the word discipline and letting it steer us in the direction of devotion. Okay. So we used this first practice to really move a lot of life energy, to lift the life energy up into the heart, and to also pull some of the energy of the mind down into the heart so that the mind can get more clear, so the cup can be empty. So this next practice is sipping the sun. So your arms are going to be up in a full V, and you're going to be, I'm just pulling my hands down because I can see in the screen that my hands are a little bit, they're exceeding the border of the screen. So you're going to be flicking your hands like so. And we're going to do this for a little while. So that's all that's happening. And I say all, but it's really quite intense after you've been doing it for a few moments. So while the hands are flicking like rays of light, you're going to be closing the eyes all the way down And here in the northern hemisphere, and here in Madison on the Isthmus where I'm located, we're having a beautiful sunny winter day. And today is an important day. It's Imbolc, which is an old pagan earth holiday, otherwise known in the modern culture as Groundhog's Day. But this is it's one of my favorite days in winter. It's the midwinter. So today approximately is the measure between the winter solstice and the spring equinox. And it's described as the day where the eros of the earth can be felt. I love this as an idea. The eros of the earth, the existential eros of our planet, her insatiable desire and her insatiable capacity to continually be regenerating. And I feel like this is such an important point to be alighting upon today. So you're bringing the energy of the sun on this midwinter's day. You're bringing the energy, the eros of the earth into the regenerative capacity of your own human beingness. And this breathing practice is sipping the sun. So you're going to inhale through a circular shape in the mouth, and you're pulling the light energy of the sun as if it were light food, and letting it, allocating the light energy of the inhalation throughout the whole of your body. And then exhale, breathing it out as a kind of gift, as a kind of offering to the whole world, okay? And this is going to be happening again as the arms are up, as the hands are flicking like so. So let's do this for a little while. Hopefully I won't choke up my spit for this exercise. So all together, let's do this. Use your visualization lavishly. Breathing in the light, breathing it into the center of your heart, into the cave of your heart, illuminating the cave of the heart, and breathing out that energy from the heart to the entire world. Lifting energy from everywhere into the heart, into the higher centers of your brain. And if you're thinking, oh my God, this is weird, go ahead and flip that switch, turn the weirdness button off, and let this practice move you, because it will. It already is. Let it Zenergize the mitochondria. Let it empty your cup. I know the arms are burning. We're only doing a micro dose. We're doing only what we need in order to get there. And it's okay if your hands start feeling like, oh my goodness, they're not doing what I want them to do anymore. It's an indication. Drinking in the light of the sun. We have been in deep hibernation in all manner of the word. Bring the light of midwinter into the cave of your heart. Let it expand you, let it connect you to a coherence and an unlimited creativity. A slow replenishment. And if you're starting to feel intense or maybe agitated, or maybe even an energy of anger is arising, or some kind of resistance is arising, deepen the intensity, the way in which you are exhaling, emptying out, expelling any of the excesses, any of the negativity, anything that is unresolved, anything that is keeping you from being fully in the dance of your life. these meditative moments will imprint the whole order of your day. Just a few more. Be so mindful, therefore heartful, meticulous, and deeply alive as you bring in this last sip of sun. Let it illuminate the cave of your heart. And breathe out to the entire world. Just relax your arms, relax your body, have a metabolic moment, and maybe bring your hands, as I'm demonstrating, bring your hands to your heart and just sway for a moment. So right now in, this bracket of history that we're living in, there's a rampant experience of suppressed, unresolved trauma that a lot of us, all of us to some degree, are carrying around in our hearts, particularly because we're empathic. If you're here live or in a replay, you are an empathic human being. You are a compassionate soul. And so we're carrying the trauma of the world soul in our own selves in many ways. And so that's why these meditative processes, all of these technologies and breathing methods, they're so important. So our trauma bodies can deactivate. And so that the intensity of the anxious energy that so many of us are so easily apt to experience right now, that too can recede and relax, that we can empty that out of our cup, experience more spaciousness in our hearts, that we can feel a wholeness and an expansion in the energy fields in our hearts, that the chaos of our minds can relax, that we can get up and out of survival mode and up and out of sympathetic dominant reactions and get into parasympathetic graceful response, so that we're not overdosing out of control on cortisol, but we're feeling like we're capable of getting into the serotonin seashell every now and again. And that's what happens, chemically in the neurochemistry of your brain when you do this kind of work. It's very beautiful. It's very, very effective. And it's self-regulatory. All of these methods help us with self-regulation. Like, we have become, as a species, we've become really, really proficient at co-regulation, and we've become really proficient at codependency, and meeting our needs from the outside in. All these practices help us with self-regulation, so that we're doing it from the inside out, for ourselves, by ourselves. This is a great skill to have. And the fruit of it is the coherence of the heart. The fruit of it is much greater joy, a greater savor in the existence of your own beingness. So you're going to create a prism shape with your hands. And before we go any deeper into the instructions of this practice, just take this moment to feel the prism of belonging that is this call, that is this meditation. that is the beautiful way that technology is allowing us to be connected in visible and invisible miraculous ways, locally and non-locally, live and there afterwards. Feel the prism of belonging that is the connection that technology is allowing, that this community of practice is cultivating. Feel the prism of belonging. So you're gonna again work with a beautiful cooling type breath. This last breath that we were doing, sipping on the sun, even though it was solarizing and bringing a lot of light nourishment into the tissues of your body and getting the issues out of your tissues. This next particular breath, which is called sitali, is particularly cooling. So any of the energies of worry or fear that get housed in the liver and that get housed in the kidneys, that this can get, again, it can get eliminated. We're excavating and eliminating the excess, okay? Emptying the cup. So you're gonna create, you're gonna curl your tongue like so. And if you can't do it, it doesn't mean that, you know, you are devoid of some skill, of course. It just is a genetic thing. If you can't loop your tongue like I just demonstrated, then just breathe through your teeth. Okay, so you're feeling a coolness as the breath passes through the teeth, or as the breath passes across the dampness of the tongue. You're bringing a coolness into your body, and you're zenergizing your heart, okay, as you empty your cup. As you empty your cup so as to have space for the beauty and the mystery of new experiences that are courting you, as the infinite is always courting us. So you're going to create this prism shape, this mudra, and you'll hover it in front of the heart. And there is a little bit of pressurization, so you are pressing the fingers together in this manner. And then so again, we're cooling, we're getting out of the cortisol overdose so that our cognitive function can increase, so that we can make informed decisions, so that we are holders, carriers of the golden key that is self-regulation. Now, as you're doing this, let your body sway a little bit. Did you know that simply swaying is also a form of self-regulation? How wonderful. Self-regulation, it's one of the greatest transformational arts that we can practice. So again, creating devotion in the direction of discipline. And for today, and for a large part of this month, all of our practices will be geared toward the holding and the healing and the opening and the liberation of our hearts. So give yourself full permission to feel all the feels that are in your heart today, this morning. I'm going to sing while you do this self-regulation practice. Let yourself arrive fully. Let yourself arrive fully in the beauty of all that you may be feeling. Let your breath move around inside of you like a warm tea. Think of the way the water of tea moves inside of your body once you've swallowed it into the inside of your inside. Let the breath move similarly. So this is a mantra for healing. Healing, in my views, is always the right place to start. You don't need to chant. Just keep staying with the breathing and the swaying and the gentle pressurization and activation that is being cultivated through the mudra. and feeling the prism of belonging, breathing with the world soul. Connecting you to the grace of vastness, your own comfortability with silence, with not knowing or knowing, with being gentle, with being powerful, with being together, and with being connected to your heart. I read you a poem from Rumi before I send you off in your various directions. He said, if you put your soul against this ore with me, the power that made the universe will enter your sinew from a source not outside your limbs, from a realm that lives in us. Be kind to yourself, dear. Be kind to yourself, to your innocent follies, forgetting any sound or touch that you have known that did not help you dance. Forgetting any sound or touch that you have known that did not help you dance. You will come to see that all involves us if you put your heart against the earth with me, in serving every creature. It will all enter you from the realm within you, and we will be so happy. One more beautiful, deep, complete and joyous breath into your heart. Exhale for the world. Just take a moment before we transition to reflect upon anything that has come to you or through you or shown itself as being ready to be released. And I wish you a beautiful day, a midwinter's day. And I thank you so much for being here. I look forward to seeing you soon, maybe tomorrow. Always know that you can utilize the integratives.org webpage, which is it's where all of the replays are housed, and it's there for you. Thank you so much, friends. Sat Nam and Namaste.